Yo, what's up guys? For the cell selection, I took the cell selection that someone else put it on this server from what I have in the video that I showed before, and then pretty much just lowered everything. So we have the 4-speed over here on all of these sets on a 6-star. We're also checking every 6-star legendary, and the heroes we are potentially selling, and also added in a specific tab for blues to be selling. So these are all of the runes that are 5-speed plus. We'll be keeping those. These are the damage sets that if they have 2 cohesive lines on the crit rate, crit damage, attack, speed, for pretty much all good runes, more or less. You could untap a few if you don't care about those. That is an option. Then we also have that for the slot 2 in particular, for the main sets out there that you would like to have on that. You could also make the argument for Rage and Fight. Let's actually add Rage and Fight early on in the game as well, because those are pretty useful. Moving on to the next, this one is for the HP, defense, resistance, and accuracy mains. So for these 4 over there, for pretty much all runes, if they have at least 4 speed, we would like to keep those. And that is for all runes except for like enhance and tolerance and that kind of stuff. Could maybe make an argument for enhance, but I think that's fine. Then this one over here, which is also a speed main, for if your speed mains have at least 1 max rolled stat, keep it. Because then you could high roll in that. I think we're actually gonna go for everything -1 over here. And you could like progressively over time like up these numbers. Like that's the main thing to do. And then we have that for, once again, all of the interesting sets out there. Then this tab is a specific tab for rare. And this only is for rare runes. And pretty much for all of the runes that I think are pretty useful. If you're more giants focused, you might tap them on energy and fatal. I think I'll keep that for shield for now as well. But these are just all of the good sets for also the HP, speed percentage, defense percentage, and all of that. Oh, wait, defense percentage, missed that one. And then all of these things out there for if they get a 6 speed in there or a 6 crit rate. So you can still make this to an 18 speed or an 18 crit rate from a blue rune, but you kind of want to start at least with a +6 speed. And this is for the really early game things. Also, if you have just 2 things to roll in, it's really easy to get like a 17 or an 18 speed in that, an early game that will actually help you for that as well. And then for the final one, I think that this is for the main of crit rate, crit damage, and attack. And then it's just if you have one of those on your damage kind of runes or the runes that you care about the most. I think we'll add that one in there as well. For the runes that you care about most, mostly damage related-ish runes, that we keep pretty much all of those and we save that. And then we're also going to be sharing that. Let's make one adjustment that I will have to repost on this, which is going to be the slot 2. I think in here what we're going to do is on all runes, if something has a max stat in whatever, on the percentage values that are usable, we just keep it. And then you can always evaluate early game if you want to roll that or not. But any max stat might be something that could triple roll. So therefore, we keep any max stats out there. And I think that we'll be keeping a lot of runes early on, but later on you can kind of remove things that you'd be like, hey, maybe that's not that interesting. But I think we're going to be setting that in the slot 2. Yeah, we put all of that in there in the slot 2. So that is number 7285 is my recommendation. Because otherwise, you're probably selling too much stuff of rune stats. Okay, that sold about half of the runes we were keeping. And then there's still a lot of runes to up. Right now, if you're a returning player, best way to up runes is by using this hammer over here, select all, and then power up all, and then power up everything to 6. You could power up everything to 3, but then you don't really see the results of that. I would recommend to power up until 6. And then from there, holy freaking Renos. It is recommended to put the sub-property over here for sub-property and then into speed. So you see all of the runes that roll into speed first, which is kind of nice. Double roll into speed already. Wow, these are 2 crazy runes already. And then from here, you just kind of start selling whatever you think is not that interesting. But I think early game, you're going to be keeping a lot more than selling. What I also do recommend is make tabs over here for your targeting of where you want to put those tabs in. So for me, I have most of the times like to grind. This is grind prio. No, wait, grind. No, let's call this enchant. Then we have grind enchant prio is what I mostly like to do. And then this is going to be a re-app And Ria Prio. And then this one I used to call banana is purple. And that's just whatever I lock things in. And then you can still, this one you could use for reforge prio or whatever the reinforcement is. And then 4 you can use for something else. But just to kind of classify how these things are called and where you want to place them at some point. So you can kind of keep tracks of those runes at a later moment, which is always pretty useful. So let's now see what kind of runes. This one is a keep for now. Keep. Yeah, I think I will be keeping a lot. So this one, I will give you another try, but that's probably a sell. These are still fine. This one, since it's one of the first, since it's the first, I kind of feel like keeping most of the shit until 9 at least. Like this is a sell. This one is not that interesting. This one is definitely not that interesting. This could still be a something. That is pretty mediocre. That is pretty mediocre, I would say. That is really mediocre. Okay, we have a few cells in there. This one I could still see having some potential. That has potential. Still has potential. You lost your potential. And then over here, kind of see the value. Your fight room, good value. That one, yep. That one. This one, not really. This one, definitely. This one, yep. And then we select all of them once again, and we power up everything to the 9. Definitely don't go for right away upgrading everything to the 9 because that's kind of a waste. Did we get speed in this? No speed in neither of those. We did up another speed one in that. That's a really good rune already, actually. That's kind of a bit of a sad roll. Still usable, 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 usable. The moment I make them 12, I kind of will put them in certain place. I'm not too sure if you have enough mana to roll everything you get in at the start right away. So maybe it's not recommended to plus 12 everything right away. Like how expensive is 2.5 mil? Yeah, that gets kind of expensive to plus 12 everything right away. But I think might as well just sell everything that you're not planning to use. But you might also be somewhat cautious of like, ooh, maybe I'm selling too much. And then you just keep a bunch of things at the plus 9 mark. That's also an option right there. These are still fine. These are still fine. Yeah, I think I would rather say select a few to power up. Wait, you can select multiple. Can you select multiple to power up? No, you can't. Okay, that's kind of does suck. Well, then we just power up them individually. That is an option. That is an option. Ooh, 22 on speed. Really good. Yeah, I think I'll just go through them, like power them up. 22 speed twice already. God damn. Yeah, I think I'll just see over here and then I power up whatever I feel like is good. And I just keep at 9 whatever isn't good. I think that's 17. Really good. What stats are you looking for to keep? Anything that's rolled high, kind of. And what is a high roll, you can see by the distribution if you click on it. Or like just a good rune score. But in general, speed is always good. High attack on the damage kind of runes, always good. That's a nice one too. What do we get over here? HP is usable. That one will keep in that level. That one keep on that level. This one is kind of blue-ish rune, but if it gets another crit rate in there, we did. That's not too bad. This one is kind of bad, but I guess I'll just keep it for now. This one kind of bad, but we'll keep. That is a fight rune. That's always good. And then you just move on to the next set of 30, which is just... It is a bit of a process, but you get used to that at some point. That is the main thing. That's definitely a 12 right there in my book. Yep, decent one. And it doesn't cost all too much mana to do this, even though it's still early. Early game does give you a whole bunch of mana. Yep, and then you just go to the next batch of everything that isn't plussed yet. Does it take runes that... Oh, that's kind of annoying. Because normally on my main account, I do always put all of the runes... Because now it's going to put all of the runes that are plus 9 in the thing again. You could just place them somewhere of like a placeholder thing of maybe later, but you can't really sell marked runes that easily. Okay, so with this whole thing, you do see all of the 6 or the plus 9s that you weren't really sure about to plus 12. An individual cost 110k. I think just send everything to the 12. That's just the thing. Like, if you're not sure, just send it to the 12. At least you see the max potential of a rune then right away. You get plenty of mana early anyway, so I think just send that to the 12. But don't send everything to the 12 this way. First do the 6, and then the 9, and then the 12. So I think that's just the easiest way just to keep track of what runes are usable, because if you have a lot of runes that are +9 at some point in your bank like these, and you're just not upping them, then you will never use them in the first place. So that's kind of the thing. On the heroes, it's definitely a little bit more of checking, like, okay, what does have value? That has value, speed has value, speed has value. This one did already miss one roll, but I think we just, like, it's so easy to get runes these days. Let's just sell that shit. This one is one we already had. This one has some decent stats. Useless stats, useless. Can be decent, one we already did. This one, decent-ish, kind of useless, kind of useless, kind of useless, kind of useless. We'll give that a try. And these are all pretty substantially useless. And then we just up the whole bunch to the 9er. Did get the speed upgrade in there. These are all... This one is good, that one is fine. This one already did, this one is fine. This one got a rip. This one... can't see being used, is okay-ish. And let's just +12 the whole batch as well. And then we just see if we actually do get some good value out of these runes. Also, you could always sell them later anyways. If you feel like, hey, these things did roll anything bad. Might as well just +12. Everything that you're tempted to keep, just +12 it. I think that's the way to go. Because in the end, you have plenty of mana. You should have plenty of mana. Just don't +12 it right away. That's the only thing you could do really wrong. Like, don't do that stuff. And that's one we still had as a keeper. That one we'll keep. Doesn't look that great. I think pretty fast you're going to be on a track where a lot of the stuff that you're keeping is already sell as well. But you want to have at least a baseline of some decent to good runes to work with. Rather than just straight up sell everything. But I do like this system a lot. This is going to make me playing the alt so much more chill. Because at some point I'm just going to set, like, for getting a baseline of runes, it's not going to be that high set. But the moment I have a baseline of runes, I'm just going to be setting this, like, pretty high as well. And then just sell most of the shit. It's not the best for progression, but it will be fast. I still think a lot of the runes you get from the game itself early on are a lot better than the runes that I'm upping right here. Okay, I see you. I see you. You're low on mana on your main. Well, that's probably because you're upping too much shit. Or you're just +12ing too much. Or +15ing too much. Because the early stage of the upgrades are cheap. If I were to make things +12, then it gets expensive. Or +15, then it gets expensive. But until 15, it doesn't get that expensive. Okay, these are less 13. Yep, once again, we have high attack on the slot 5er. Okay, that's done for all of those.
Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.